They're acting like lovers.
Knows this.
That's her big harassment moment.
Perhaps Blake Lively has just encountered her match. Megyn Kelly is determined to uncover every lie Blake has ever told, and the receipts she is bringing to the table are obviously damning. This is where it gets really crazy. But Kelly isn't just talking, she's bringing in her own lawyer to provide concrete evidence that Blake has been lying from the beginning. Blake's motivations may be much more sinister and selfish than anyone had ever imagined. She uses Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as examples to support her claim that she is a victim of the Me Too movement. That is absurd. To threaten producers with a boycott if Justin Baldoni's outrageous demands aren't met, this goes far beyond a simple lawsuit. Blake Lively had a carefully considered plan all along and wasn't just reacting. She accused Justin Baldoni of organizing a smear campaign against her, as is well known, and filed a lawsuit against him. But instead of giving up, Justin filed his own lawsuit in retaliation, claiming that she was trying to harm his reputation. Although it sounds complex, it's much more involved than you might think. We need to go back to the beginning of this before we look at all of the recently leaked evidence. Feud didn't just happen overnight. It started long before the drama was made public, and Blake's painstakingly cultivated reputation was ruined. Regardless of what Blake says about Justin Baldoni, the fact remains that her own fans turned against her because of her entitled, "miss me" attitude. Fans noticed that she was doing press interviews for It Ends With Us when something felt off. They quickly began investigating it and found completely disgusting old interviews. That infuriated people, and Blake instantly jumped into defensive mode to try to salvage her reputation. As part of her Please Love Me Again strategy, she worked with the New York Times to rewrite negative stories about her, accusing Justin and his PR team of creating them. She used the platform to portray herself as the ultimate victim and paint Justin as the villain, rather than take ownership of the situation. But this is where things start to get really murky. There is now undeniable proof that the New York Times purposefully left out crucial information from text messages in order to paint Justin in a worse light. As you may remember, Amber Heard did just that to Johnny Depp in 2018, so this should sound familiar. After portraying Johnny as a monster and playing the helpless victim in that hit article in The Sun, Amber came out of hiding to publicly support Blake, but Blake made a serious error by copying Amber's strategy. Not to mention how disastrous that turned out for Amber, who thought her followers were too innocent to spot the lies. Let's be honest though, regardless of how many interviews she does or how many times she attributes the problem to Justin's public relations team, the truth is in front of us, as this clip demonstrates. She consistently makes everything about herself and treats interviewers rudely. The worst part is that she shows no consideration for the real victims who appear in the film, as if she is completely tone-deaf to the entire theme. Despite being questioned about her husband, she somehow used the opportunity to promote her hair care brand. Later on, though, you changed your mind and gave Ryan just as much support. How's business at my hair salon, for instance? Is it shocking that her own supporters abandoned her? In the same way that Johnny Depp's attorneys ruined Amber Heard's case, Justin Baldoni is getting ready to completely ruin Blake Lively's. No sympathy, and there's another twist. Yes, Megyn Kelly's lawyer is also representing Justin, but this is where things take a dark turn. As we said earlier, this was not just a desperate attempt to keep up appearances. Several text exchanges between Justin, Blake, the producers, and the editors show exactly what was happening behind the scenes, which could demonstrate that Blake's sly scheme to steal Justin Baldoni's film was his original intent. Justin Baldoni, who was not only the film's star, but also its writer and director, was shocked to learn that Blake had secretly created her own director's cut, and that no one was allowed to view it. However, the madness didn't end there. As if that weren't enough, during the premiere of his own movie, Justin and his own friends and family were actually pushed into the basement. Even though it was completely inappropriate and never even run by Justin, Justin was shocked to learn that Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, had actually helped write some of the scenes. This wasn't merely a misunderstanding. Blake was making sure she had all the power, all the control, and all the attention. The issue is that Blake's meager plan is collapsing quickly. She is now the one at risk as the roles are changing. Let's get started, because the lies are coming out fast. She will be shown mountains of evidence by Justin's attorney. Recently leaked text messages completely disprove Blake's claim that Justin had violated her personal space by showing up without her consent while she was with her child because, guess what? Blake herself invited Justin to her trailer while she was pumping milk, as shown by her own words and Justin's response. He wasn't exactly jumping at the chance, as his response makes clear, and he had no intention of crossing any boundaries. Even worse, Blake herself established the guidelines for what she considered acceptable. Let's just say that the reality is quite different. Blake also claimed that she was shown extremely inappropriate and explicit material by Jamie Heath, Justin's best friend and the main producer of the movie. She conveniently left out of her lawsuit that the allegedly inappropriate footage she was shown was actually a birthing scene, which had a direct connection to the video and the movie script. But Blake twisted the entire incident into a horrific harassment allegation. Rather than some gruesome, explicit content, it was artistically and tastefully filmed footage of the producer's own wife giving birth, capturing the beauty of bringing life into the world. Blake continued to fabricate charges to bolster her narrative, but she didn't stop there. She also made the ludicrous claim that she was just making offensive comments about her weight. Justin allegedly threw a fit, yelling at him and reprimanding him for the alleged remarks after Brian Reynolds allegedly called him into his penthouse because the accusation had gotten so bad. However, Blake didn't just involve her husband in this mess. Unfortunately, she reportedly courted Taylor Swift as well, using her to control and coerce Justin. And if you thought that was terrible, here are some more leaked messages. Reveal that Blake threatened Justin by claiming that she was the fabled Khaleesi from Game of Thrones and that Ryan and Taylor were her dragons. She actually said that, and when Megyn Kelly read it out loud, it was even more embarrassing than it seems. The real kicker, though, is this. Kessie's story didn't end well, if I remember correctly, so maybe Blake should have actually finished watching Game of Thrones? But what actually happened, let's face it. Yes, Justin did ask his personal trainer about Blake's weight, but not for any questionable reasons. We've all seen her tendency to misrepresent and take things out of context by now, but Blake blew it out of proportion as soon as she found out. The real tale goes like this. Given his severe back issues and the fact that he had to physically lift Blake during a pre-planned scene in the film, Justin needed to know her weight to prevent injury to himself, or worse, Blake. The only professional concern was safety, no inappropriate body language or conversation. But when more messages are leaked, the situation becomes even more complicated. Completely refute Blake's baseless accusations. Her conversations with Justin showed that he was genuinely supportive, especially when she shared body insecurities after giving birth. In the wake of yet another high-profile accusation, Justin personally reassured her, making it clear that he was only there to support her. Blake claims that there was no intimacy coordinator on the set. According to her lawsuit, having an improvised physical intimacy without any preparation, choreography, or even conversation, all without an intimacy coordinator present, sounds serious. But there's only one problem. Blake vehemently disputes this claim in his own words. Blake, which one is it? In an earlier interview, she admitted that there was an intimacy coordinator on staff. Right now, she seems to say whatever fits her narrative. And if you're still not persuaded, leaked text messages only serve to strengthen your doubts. Let's not forget that this lawsuit was filed long before Blake did, and she made it clear in one of her own messages to Justin that she wasn't especially worried about whether an intimacy coordinator was present. In fact, Justin praised her in interviews for taking control of their private moments long before this legal dispute even began. He wasn't attempting damage control at the last minute. Blake's lawsuit mentions a specific scene, but upon closer inspection, everything she said backfired. So let's go over each point in detail. Blake says that when she and Justin were filming the slow dance scene for montage, no sound was recorded. She accuses Justin of leaning in, whispering, "It smells so good," and dragging his lips from her ear down her neck rather than staying in the moment. Additionally, she says Justin spoke to her in an uncharacteristic manner and let the camera roll. It sounds damning, doesn't it? This is where things start to go wrong, though. Blake's whole argument is based on the idea that there wouldn't be any proof of what really happened because no sound was recorded. The story is under her control, but guess what? Unfortunately, the real video from that day of filming was made public by Justin's lawyer. We are surprised to learn that it has sound, allowing us to hear every detail of what happened. Blake is further exposed for falsifying the facts. The real kicker, though, is this. Blake's own lawsuit claims that since there is no sound, nothing has to be said. However, hold on. Didn't Blake herself suggest to Justin that they should talk during the scene? In fact, there is yet another serious contradiction that completely calls into question her credibility. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this crazy mess, but I can't wait for the plot twist. This is the part you won't believe. Blake has now gone all out, insisting that Justin Baldoni and his lawyer not reveal any evidence or text messages that could completely expose her. Additionally, he has placed them under a gag order. Isn't that absurd? Justin shouldn't really defend himself, I hope. So, what do you think about all of this? Well, This is the key query. Did Blake lie from the start and play the victim, and now her alleged evidence is blowing up in her face because of Justin's lawyer, Megyn Kelly? Or is there any truth to her claims, and maybe she is the victim after all? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and remember to hit the subscribe and notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more of the latest celebrity drama. Thank you for viewing, and I hope to see you in the upcoming video.